Hello, this is Board Deck and Dice's BrewTube. My name's Nick, and that is my real name. So today I'm giving you my real name because today I want to talk about something that I consider a bit more of a serious topic. Obviously board games are serious, ultimately, but hopefully you'll see what I mean. It's off to a good start already, isn't it, Nick? Yeah, well done, well. Sorry, just having a moment. Recently, published on the doing the rounds on the Facebook board game groups that I'm a member of, was an article called "Board Games Saved My Life." It was about someone who had suicidal depression and how board games provide an outlet for them really changed their life around. And as someone who suffers with depression, I wanted to just make a couple of comments on that to kind of back up some of the message, but to also put in some other things as well, which perhaps a brief glance at the article wouldn't have got. I have suffered with depression probably most of my adult life, looking back in hindsight, but I've only been diagnosed and on treatment for the last few years or so, which has made a big difference to me. Depression is something that has robbed me of my enjoyment of certain hobbies of mine. For example, video gaming, particularly console video gaming. I enjoy less and less. Competitive sports, basketball, football, tennis, I enjoy less and less, find it harder to get motivated to do them. But board gaming is something that I've rediscovered probably in the years since I've been diagnosed, or certainly just before then I was kind of getting into it. And I would agree with the article that I mentioned. I'm going to put a link to that hopefully somewhere on the screen if I work out how to do that, but also in the description. And while board games have been a part of my ongoing recovery, I think there's wider things in play than just saying that board games saved my life. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the article. Having read it, I think it's great, but there's things in there that I recognise that it's still an effort for this person to motivate themselves to go to a new situation and play board games. And for me, I have that. I also have acquisition disorder, which most board gamers do, of buying lots of board games, and then you have the ones that you haven't played, and you feel bad because you haven't organised the night and all that sorts of things. So what I've found helps. I have not yet been to a game group where it's run by someone else, where I am a stranger and new to it, but I have set up one with close friends, and we try and meet up roughly every 6 weeks. If we haven't had one in 6 weeks, we look at sorting it out, but we're a bit more regular than that at the moment. It's with good people, some of which know about me having depression, some which don't, although I would never not admit it if I was asked. It's just not something until now that I've talked about it like this, and it certainly helps. But what also helps is going to the doctors and seeking help, be that medically or through therapy or counselling. Now, I was initially offered antidepressants, which I took up, and I've changed the one I'm on, and that seems to be working really well for me. But I didn't want to just rely on medicine, so I asked for what's called cognitive behavioural therapy as well, which has seen some big changes for me in the way I think about things. So what I'm saying is, depression seems to be more and more common. I mean, I'm just a normal, less than average guy. I haven't got any stats to back this up or anything, but it seems like more and more people are just free to talk about it. There is still a bit of stigma about it, but I would encourage you, if you think you have anything like depression, go to the doctors. And I know it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because when I went to the doctors, I was like, I feel like there's something wrong, but if he tells me I haven't got depression, then I'm going to feel like a wally. But if he tells me I have got depression, then I'm going to feel, well, depressed. So I know it's a bit of a double-edged sword. So if you can take someone with you, great. If you can tell someone you're going, just have that backup, great. But go and get some help. the reasons I ended up going were because someone told me that the pills that they were on were really helping, and I'd never heard that before. I'd only heard people speak about the medication in bad ways. And I heard a well-known person speak about their battle with depression, and then Robin Williams tragically committed suicide, and all those things happened in the space of a weekend, and that's when I really decided that I needed to go and sort this out. Board games have definitely played a part in keeping me social. Some people will be quite surprised that I have depression, like the author of the article that I've referenced. I'm fairly outgoing, I quite like social gatherings, quite like being or attempting to be funny at these things, but that's not, it's part of who I am, but it's not a clear reflection of everything that goes on inside me. And those events cost me something, they cost me energy. I was talking about the depression stealing joy from me. One of the things I find really hard to do is set up a solo game to play if it's more than just Fuse, where I can just do it really quickly. Solo games is something I'd like to enjoy more. I do find myself more and more introverted as I grow up, grow older, not grow up. But yeah, I find I get the game out and I just go, oh, I can't be bothered. Maybe that's just laziness, to be honest. Maybe the doctor got it wrong and I'm just a lazy arse. Anyway, the point is, board games can be a great part of your overall strategy for beating depression, and depression is beatable, but I don't think they could be the only part. I think if they're the only part for me, sooner or later it would become a battle between depression and board games, and I'm not sure board games on their own would win. So seek help, get people around you who care for you, get a regular group of people who you can play your games with, because if you just buy them you'll feel guilty about that, and that will feed back into depression. I'm buying all these games and I'm not playing them, and I feel like I've waffled on for far too long. Thank you for listening. This is still not an easy thing to talk about, but after that article I just wanted to highlight some of the other things you can do. If anyone out there would like to chat about this more, please message me, and I will happily share more of my story with you. I'm Nick, that is my real name, and you've been watching Board Deck and Dice's BrewTube.